Looking at this Georgia Tech win 33-30. Miami was trailing in the fourth quarter, put up a touchdown to get it done. It wasn't just the passing game, just wasn't the running game. 563 yards of total offense in this game. Tyler Van Dyke, again, no picks, 3 TDs, 389 passing. Then you get Jalen Knighton into the act with 32 carries for a $162. They were moving the ball.
Absolutely, Mark. One of the other things that happened in there was 3 turnovers that happened in that game. I believe 3 fumbles. Okay, so the game could have been even more. I mean,
Yep.
we almost doubled the total yardage. Georgia Tech was playing a hurt QB. I mean, it was actually pretty rough to watch, Mark, because what made a lot of us angry is, of course, you had the turnovers, but you had this game in the bag, and then the momentum started to swing to Georgia Tech, and then we also simultaneously went somewhat conservative, which gave them even more momentum. But they had the scoop and score, they had an interception for a 2-point conversion taken back to put it within 3. I mean, it just looked like a what's going on here, kind of game. It was very hands up in the air. What's going on? It just looks like a circus for real, for lack of a better term. Just what could go wrong tend to go wrong back to back to back, and that's why everybody was so like, what's going on here, man? And again, I don't necessarily think that that's on Manny Diaz that we had players who were fumbling. I mean, Jalen Knighton has shown he likes to carry it in his right arm. And when he puts it in his left arm, it's not the same. So they were punching at it and prying at it, and it popped out. And one of them, Markey breaks like a 23-yard game. He shakes somebody. They just punch the ball. The ball goes flying up in the air. The linebacker catches it and takes off down the sideline. I mean, it just looked like anything that could go wrong could go wrong. Again, for those of us who like to do film analysis and analyze the game, there are some other things that we didn't like. There were plenty 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1 situations where we felt as though you have 2 big bruiser backs on the sideline drinking water and smelling the air instead of going on the football field and contributing to your program. While you're running the one back, you're starting back into the ground. Simultaneously, you did this with not De'Aaron King. Well, you did with Cam Harris. Cam Harris is out with a torn ACL. We did this with Donald Chaney Jr. Donald Chaney Jr. is out with a torn labrum in his shoulder. Now we're doing it again with all these crazy carry loads on one guy and using the whole bell cow thing, which I've talked about ad nauseum. We're not going to go down this again. Situational ball. Let's lose all of our running backs the way that they should be used, because we have 5 4-star backs on the roster who are all eligible. But now, due to overloading one back, we only have 3, and then 2 of them you're not even using. So we only have 1 who's just getting ramrocked. And in all honesty, Mark, he's a scat back. He's a 5'10", 5'11", 190-pound guy that you're giving 32 carries and 40-plus touches to if you add his receptions out of the backfield. Okay. Now, someone could say, what are you complaining about? He's getting the yardage. You're complaining. You said that you want to see the best players play. Yes, I do want to see the best players play. I do want to see the young guys out there cutting up, but I don't want to see them to the point where we're being a detriment to them. Because what we can do is use the other guys who play the same position, who would be perfect for a 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1. Okay, come in and give them that dive. Come in and give them that read option. Hell, even go split back, Mark, where we know we're giving the ball to Knighton, but bring in Thad Franklin and do the dive as a fullback block. He just rams up and just tries to hit the guard or something, hit a defensive tackle, hit a linebacker as he's just running up the gut to hit somebody. Those things, it seems obvious to us from the outside looking in. And I wish and I'm hoping that moving forward, because we have 3 games left, we also have a bowl game if we continue to win, which is something we'll talk about in the next segment when we get into the hate week conversation, to where we cannot lose Jalen Knight, dude. We cannot lose Jalen Knight. So please, Coach Red Lashley, because I don't believe that's on Manny Diaz. That's not on Manny Diaz. He's the defensive coordinator. Yes, he's also the head coach. Red Lashley, please, can we use all of our backs, man? Please, please.
The Wholesome One answering your comments and questions here at the Voice of College Football. Leave them in the live chat. Let people know that we're here every Tuesday. So, folks, just don't show up yourself, but we appreciate you being here. But let other people know that we're here talking Miami and breaking it down with the Wholesome One every Tuesday about 1:15 Eastern. So, on the defensive side of the ball, what's your assessment of? And usually, I pose better questions and more specific questions because I typically watch the game. And if I don't watch the entire game, I will watch like the 25 minutes of extended highlights. So I see all the key plays.
All
But
the big
I got to tell you,
plays, yeah.
I didn't watch a play of this game. I have no idea what happened other than they scored late, they won the game, and then I pull up this box score, and that's why I led the offense with, man, all these good things happened. But you let me know that it was a bit of a circus out there.
Yeah, it got weird and wild very fast. Okay, but defensively, man, still some issues tackling Mark. I mean, it's not as pathetic as it was the first go round where, I mean, it looked like, I mean, yes, the Michigan State guy turned out to be very good. Michigan State turned out to be a very good team. Alabama is top 3 team in the country right now, depending on your opinion. I get that. But some of those tackling that we watched the first month of this season started to flare up a little bit, not to the same extent. So calm down on the hashtag rewatch squad. Not to the exact same extent. I'm not saying we look as bad, but it does look bad in certain instances, especially with open field tackling. Okay, James Williams was a big star these last couple of weeks, man. The 5-star defensive player, I call him defensive player, man, because he's played some free, he's played some strong, he's played some outside, he's played some middle linebacker. He plays all over the football field for the Miami Hurricanes. He wears the big number 0. You cannot miss him. Okay, he looks like a creative play on NCAA, and you're wondering why this big basketball player is back there playing defensive back. But he shows you that he's a football player and he can come up and handle whatever we need. But he is even starting to show some of those signs of throwing the flipper, just like he did against UNC, instead of coming in and securing tackles or just bringing the guy down to the ground. And that's some of those things you got to coach out of young men because, yes, he's 6'5". He's been 6'5" for a while. Yes, he's a 5-star. So his flipper, his arm used to knock people out in high school. Okay, he has to get used to being able to, at this level, understand that you got to bring more technique to the game so that we can get guys to the ground. Okay, defensive line wise, you got to give your roses to Zach McCloud. Okay, I've been very critical of Zach McCloud. I don't have anything against him personally, of course, but I've been very critical of his play as a football player. And Zach McCloud has been very iffy in his career here at Miami, but this season in particular, and these last couple of weeks, he's had a combined 3 sacks in the last 3 weeks, and he's been after the QB. He's been setting that edge. He's nobody's world beater, but the level of effort, the level of technique and tenacity that he is playing this game with is I'm very happy that he's on the team, and I'm very happy for him. And we're rooting for him, and he's still as humble as he was the day he came in 2016. He's not a very loud or boisterous or flamboyant young man. He's very about his job. He's going to do his job. He's going to give very high level and effort. At defensive end, that's something that we need. But not only has he been doing all those things, he's now producing on the other side of it with getting TFLs, with getting solo sacks, with swatting passes down. Okay, so it's not like he's giving high effort and he's leading the team in QB hurries. Nope, he's leading the team in sacks with 4.5 sacks on the season. 3 of them coming in the last 3 wins, and 2 of them against ranked opponents, and also at home for homecoming this past week against Georgia Tech. The linebacker position, still a big issue. Okay, it's been very undercoached, very under-recruited, and it's obvious. All right, we play a lot of people, even walk on. Ryan Regone, who is now a scholarship player, he wears number 34. You can't miss him. He's about 5'8". He wears no gloves with long white sleeves on. So you kind of notice that That guy looks a little. But he looks like the best linebacker on the team. How does that make any sense? Well, he goes out there, he secures tackles, he knows where to go, he flips his hips. And some people don't like it. Some people think he doesn't deserve to be on a football field. Obviously, he does things better than some of those other guys. Okay. BJ Jennings was not on the team because he's left. So 44 didn't play this past week, which bumped 34 up a bit to which is who Ryan Regone is. Number 17, Wayman Steed is starting to show me some things. But Mark, we do so much mass substitution that you get a chance to see somebody make a play, and then 2 plays later they're out, and you don't see them again until the next quarter. That's the way that Donut Diaz is running his program and running the defense. I don't really like it, but it is what it is as far as for the rest of this season. Particularly, there were a couple plays in the run game where Wayman Steed went and made a play as opposed to waiting on somebody to come to him. And that's what we've been waiting on at linebacker for the longest. I get that you kind of want to keep everything in front of you. It's a way of playing defense that is a little bit conservative, but it doesn't get you beat as much as being aggressive and hitting people in the face and going after people to get you beat. You see Wayman Steed on a couple of those plays. Canes fans, you go back and watch that on a 25-minute replay. I mean, key 2nd and 1, Mark, he just shoots the guy, bam, hits the dude in the backfield, and then they pull him out right after that. So it is what it is with their mass rotation at this point. We are who we are at this point in the season. Those are the only linebackers that kind of stood out. Keontra Smith, who we all think is the better one, doesn't play like that. Sam Brooks doesn't get an opportunity on our football field. Tyreek Austin Cave, someone who is an inside linebacker, wears number 18 for us. They don't even put him in the rotation. So, again, I think there'll be a mass exodus from this program if we continue to treat players the way that we've been treating players and to have Coach Diaz running this team. And it's kind of wild. Secondary-wise, at cornerback, it's still abysmal. I mean, DJ Ivey is still one of the worst Miami Hurricanes corners. It's week in and week out. This dude is bad. He's just bad. Okay. Georgia Tech was fighting their way back in it, and he almost lost the game because he got lost looking at something he's not supposed to look at. The wide receiver was behind him. They threw a deep pass right over him, but the QB happened to be down with his knee when the bad snap happened, so they called it back. But it was going to be about a 40-yard game to put them in field goal range because of DJ Ivey. Again, I talked about Cam Chitchers doing well. Avante Williams got his first interception. Welcome back, Avante Williams, hopping over the wide receiver. He went and made that play, Mark. It wasn't like he jumped it. He literally jumped over the wide receiver and caught it while he was falling. And it was great to see him do very, very well. So he got his first career interception as a Miami Hurricane. And so it's a bright future for this young program and these young players. We just got to get them somebody that's going to coach them up right.